Some of you who've been with me from the beginning know that I started this whole YouTube thing because I was about to venture in becoming an audiophile. And what it's blown up into is just an opportunity for me to share my opinions about consumer electronics. I just like tech. And what I want to do now is just lead you into the next leg of my adventures of the realm of being an audiophile or becoming one. And one thing that I'm missing and I'm looking to get into are amp DACs for the desktop. Okay, so I've gotten these headphones. I've talked about these different headphones, and amongst the other things I've talked to you guys about portable amp DACs with the FX-Audio Q3, the new one that just came out. I'll leave a link of that video down below. But I need something for the desktop. So one night, late, walking around in Amazon and Google, you know, those black holes you get into, I decided to look around to see what is a good entry-level amp DAC for my headphones and something that's not portable just to keep on the desktop. And while rummaging through Amazon, I came across the FX-Audio DAC X6 MKII. It was late and it was only $79. So I put it in a cart and I had it show up a few weeks ago at the door. So disclaimer, I have to say this is my second one because sadly the first one I received from Amazon had an extraordinarily strong ringing in the background. It was there constantly, whether I was playing music or not. So the first one, that sucker had to go back, and this is the replacement. The X6 MKII is a very, very impressive desktop amp DAC for the price. I found the build of the amp DAC to be impressive due to its aluminum case and its brushed finish. The button and knob in the front feel well built and have this satisfying clicking sound each time you interact with it. Now, the button on the left also acts as the input selector, being able to switch from Bluetooth, USB, optical input, and coaxial. Now, the knob, the volume knob, is well built. It can be pressed into the device to mute it and unmute it. Also, turning to the right, increasing the volume, and turning to the left, decreasing the volume. Now, one thing I'm kind of not happy with is that it is continuous. You can turn and turn and turn to your heart's content. Eventually, I believe this is going to wear down the device and may cause some problems in the future. Now, another thing I'm concerned about is that for the size of this thing and what it's supposed to have, it's extremely light. Now, this tells me that it could have been a tighter package. For something that's going to be on a desktop, and with everyone really focusing on minimizing what they have on their desktop, this is taking up a lot of space. So I'm assuming that this was done in order to evenly dissipate heat while it's being used. Let's go to the back of the device, and as you can see, this surprisingly has a lot of different options out there. So if you're seeing the Toppings DX3 Pro, it has some of the similar options that it carries on that line. Over here, you have the Bluetooth antenna, which supports 5.0 Bluetooth. You have your PC USB input, your optical input, your coaxial, and your right and left RCA outputs. So this is a fully digital compatible amp DAC for your desktop. And then if you can remember from the unboxing, you have your 12 volt DC plug that supports it and powers the unit. Now, one thing I was extremely happy with, when it was time for me to go ahead and plug this bad boy through USB to my PC, I had not to include any additional drivers to operate this sucker. That was extremely satisfying because if you're like me, the more things you have on your laptop, the more things you hate. And for individuals that have trouble looking for drivers that are compatible with what their devices require, you're not going to have to worry about this. It's a plug and play. At least it was for me. Let's see how it sounds. To give you an idea, I listed down below my title playlist that I used to test some of the headphones that I purchased. So what I decided to go with is the Hyphaman 4XX from Drop, the Sigva Phoenix, and also to see how it tests with IEMs, I went ahead and used my KZ ZS Pro IEMs. So let's give it a listen. The thing with the X6 Mark II, its sound profile that stuck out the most was definitely its bass. The bass was there and in your face. Though it was very present, it was also pleasant. The bass was not covering any of the other details. For example, just muttering the vocals of any of the singers I'd listened to. The bass from Hunter by Bjork just rumbled so easily across my ear. And the cellos in Wicked Games on the Westworld Season 3 soundtrack was, I think, just very lively and amazing. Now, this is the concerning thing. Speaking of vocals, I really don't know how to put this, but I was extremely bored with each track I'd listened to. The mids on the thing was just really lacking and flat. It was like backstage. For the very first time ever, I was bored listening to the Cranberries' Zombies. I thought that was impossible. This made me quickly jump to Adele's Unplugged album and Alanis Morissette's Unplugged album. Their voices were just fighting to get over the piano, strings, or anything else that was on the track. So I had to pull out the Toppings DX Pro and the FX-Audio DAC X600. Now, I know it's a surprise. I'm still looking them over because there's actually going to be a review soon on them. But, yep, the X6 Mark II's profile is not for you if you're looking to enjoy vocalists. One thing before I continue, I have to bring this to your attention. Now, we all know IEMs are sensitive in nature, right? It just has to be managed, the power, the circuitry has to manage everything well enough to ensure IEMs are supported well enough and it doesn't blow the IEMs out of the water. Any case, there's just this constant hissing in the background when I listen to anything through any of the IEMs. This is not the only one I have. Any of the IEMs I listen to. And I'm trying to put my finger on it, and I'm not sure if it's due to the other devices I'm using, maybe the laptop or something of that nature, but there's a ringing that happens from time to time when it gets to a higher frequency of any of the songs I've listened to. Now, I know I came into this very excited because I found something that had a lot of good reviews, but I believe I'm probably at a higher level in my audiophile experience that this just won't do. The build quality is great. The price is great. I'm kind of disappointed that it doesn't have, that it's not balanced. And maybe that's one thing I just got to look for a little harder to find. But it's not going to get my vote. I say work a little harder, save $25 more, or maybe another $50, because there's a couple other things up there. Like I showed before, I'm going to do a review of the Toppings and also the FX-Audio DS6000. So let me see if any of those just destroy this.